Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, January 9th, 2023. Today we're going to recap the NFL Week 18 games. We're going to look at the weekend's college basketball, NBA, and NHL games. Look ahead to tonight's games in each sport. We have the College Football National Championship game tonight between Georgia and TCU. We have a lot of soccer, golf, news and notes, and best bet. We're going to start with football. Right into the NFL, recap the weekend. And it was an interesting weekend, to say the least. Saturday, Chiefs over the Raiders 31-13 as they clinched the 1 seed. Jags over the Titans 20-16 as they clinched the AFC South. Falcons over the Buccaneers 30-17. Bills over the Patriots 35-23 as they clinched the 2 seed. Vikings over the Bears 29-13 as they settled for the 3 seed. Bengals over the Ravens 27-16. So the Bengals are the 3, the Ravens are the 6. Texans over the Colts 32-31. Dolphins over the Jets 11-6 as they clinch the final playoff spot in the AFC. Panthers over the Saints 10-7. Steelers over the Browns 28-14. Broncos over the Chargers 31-28 as the Chargers end up the 5 seed. Eagles over the Giants 22-16 as they clinch the NFC East and the number 1 seed in the NFC. 49ers over the Cardinals 38-13 as they clinch the 2 seed. Seahawks over the Rams 19-16 in overtime. Commanders over the Cowboys 26-6 as the Cowboys settle for 5. Lions over the Packers 20-16 as that eliminates the Packers as the Seattle Seahawks get the final playoff spot in the NFC. So it was a wild weekend for sure. We're going to be doing football activities as the week goes on. So stay tuned for that. All right, now move on to college basketball. We will get through all the results from the weekend, and we'll look ahead to a small window for tonight. We'll begin with Friday night. Toledo over Western Michigan, 102-74. Princeton over Columbia, 68-49. Cornell over Penn, 88-69. Dartmouth over Yale, 81-77. Harvard over Brown, 70-68. In overtime, Siena over St. Peter's, 70-60. Quinnipiac over Rider, 72-63. Ono over Marist, 84-57. Canisius over Manhattan, 64-57. Niagara over Fairfield, 77-69 in overtime. Oakland over Northern Kentucky, 64-63. Wright State over Detroit Mercy, 90-85. Ball State over Akron, 70-63. And Cal over Stanford, 92-70. All right, Saturday. North Carolina beats Notre Dame, 81-64. Number 4, UConn beats Creighton, 69-60. Number 6, Texas beats Oklahoma State, 56-46. Number 20, Missouri beats Vandy, 85-82. Providence beats St. John's, 83-80. Nebraska beats Minnesota, 81-79. In overtime, VCU beats Davidson, 89-72. Buffalo beats Northern Illinois, 80-62. Number 7, Alabama beats Kentucky, 78-52. Number 16, Duke over Boston College, 65-64. Florida State beats Georgia Tech, 75-64. Florida beats Georgia, 82-75. Fairleigh Dickinson beats LIU, 101-89. Milwaukee beats Purdue Fort Wayne, 74-70. Illinois beats number 14, Wisconsin, 79-69. Number 25, Iowa State beats number 17, TCU, 69-67. Tulane beats Temple, 87-76. Memphis beats East Carolina, 69-59. Sacred Heart beats Hartford, 78-71. Northern Iowa beats Southern Illinois, 69-57. Indiana State beats UIC, 80-60. Illinois State beats Evansville, 69-61. FAU beats Charlotte, 71-67. Marquette beats Georgetown, 95-73. Mississippi State beats Ole Miss, 64-54. Fordham beats St. Joe's, 66-54. LaSalle beats Rhode Island, 77-75. In overtime, George Mason beats Loyola Chicago, 86-75. George Washington beats UMass, 81-73. Radford beats Gardner-Webb, 63-59. Charleston Southern beats Presbyterian, 67-61. UNC Asheville beats Campbell, 58-55. Chattanooga beats VMI, 85-78. Eastern Michigan beats Central Michigan, 62-56. Stonehill beats Central Connecticut, 51-49. North Dakota State beats South Dakota, 73-61. South Dakota State beats North Dakota, 60-59. Youngstown State beats IUPUI, 105-74. UNC Wilmington beats NCA&T, 66-61. Drexel beats Monmouth, 67-35. Hofstra beats William & Mary, 75-62. Michigan State beats Michigan, 59-53. Valpo loses at Bradley, 88-66. Wake beats Louisville, 80-72. Louisiana Tech beats UTEP, 60-58. Stephen F. Austin beats Grand Canyon, 73-68. Seattle beats Texas Arlington, 76-61. SC Upstate beats High Point, 76-57. Merrimack beats St. Francis Brooklyn, 65-53. Southern Miss beats UL Monroe, 65-60. Texas State beats South Alabama, 64-58. Old Dominion beats Georgia Southern, 81-75 in overtime. Western Illinois beats Denver, 91-74. Morehead State beats Eastern Michigan, 69-59. Cleveland State beats Green Bay 82-77. Number 8, Tennessee beats South Carolina 85-42. Kansas State beats Miami of Ohio 69-66. Marshall beats Coastal Carolina 81-66. Morgan State beats NC Central 78-73 in overtime. Arkansas Pine Bluff beats Texas Southern 70-66. Coppin State beats Tennessee State 85-73. Clemson beats Pitt 75-74. Western Kentucky beats UTSA 74-64. Norfolk State beats Maryland Eastern 57-46. St. Louis beats St. Bonaventure 78-55. Nevada beats San Jose State 67-40. Longwood beats Winthrop 85-71. Furman beats East Tennessee State 70-56. Stanford beats UNC Greensboro 70-68. Western Carolina beats Mercer 73-45. St. Fran PA beats Wagner 68-63. Northeastern beats Hampton 79-63. UC Santa Barbara beats Cal Poly 62-57. Montana State beats Northern Arizona 69-54. San Diego State beats Wyoming 80-75. Number 18, Xavier beats Villanova 88-80. Howard beats Delaware State 84-64. Southeast Louisiana beats Lamar 89-84 in overtime. Nichols loses at Northwestern State 68-48. A&M Commerce beats McNeese 82-80 in overtime. Colorado State beats Fresno State 79-57. Tennessee Tech beats Tennessee Martin 84-80 in overtime. Southeast Missouri State beats Little Rock 74-68. Tennessee State beats Lindenwood 60-57. Washington State beats number 5 Arizona 74-61. Number 11 Virginia beats Syracuse 73-66. Number 22 Charleston beats Delaware 75-64. Alcorn State beats Alabama A&M 89-76. Belmont beats Missouri State 74-61. Bowling Green beats Ohio 88-79. Troy beats Arkansas State 66-54. Portland State beats Idaho 74-58. Eastern Washington beats Sacramento State 78-75. Jacksonville beats Lipscomb 51-44. New Orleans beats Houston Christian 82-59. A&M Corpus Christi beats Incarnate Word 80-71. Sam Houston beats Tarleton 75-68. Austin Peay beats Central Arkansas 86-62. Number 3 Kansas beats West Virginia 76-62. Kansas State beats number 19 Baylor 97-95 in overtime. Jackson State beats Alabama State 61-58. Princeton beats Cornell 78-68. Drake beat Murray State 82-64. North Texas beats Middle Tennessee 56-51. Brown beats Dartmouth 77-70. A&M beats LSU 69-56. Richmond beats Duquesne 75-73. Southern beats Florida A&M 84-66. Grambling beats Bethune 76-60 or 76-70. Boise State beats Utah State 82-59. Towson beats Stony Brook 67-55. Prairie View beats Mississippi Valley State 67-60. Oklahoma beats Texas Tech 68-63 in overtime. Oregon beats Utah 70-60. Penn beats Columbia 84-55. Yale beats Harvard 58-54. FIU beats UAB 90-87 in overtime. Southern Utah beats Abilene Christian 74-72. Wofford beats DeSoto 77-57. Florida Gulf Coast beats North Florida 82-57. NC State beats Virginia Tech 73-69. Utah Valley beats Texas Rio Grande 75-61. Pacific beats Pepperdine 80-75. BYU beats San Diego 68-48. Louisiana beats Georgia State 78-70. App State beats James Madison 71-62. St. Thomas beats Omaha 80-68. Oral Roberts beats Kansas City 74-71. UC Riverside beats Northridge 68-49. Davis beats Bakersfield 67-48. Montana beats Northern Colorado 75-74. Kennesaw State beats Queens 76-67. Stetson beats North Alabama 95-85 in overtime. Number 22 Auburn beats number 13 Arkansas 72-59. Seton Hall beats Butler 76-51. SAU Edwardsville beats Southern Indiana 69-62. Cal Baptist beats New Mexico State 70-61. St. Mary's beats Portland 85-43. UC Irvine beats Long Beach State 87-70. Fullerton beats Hawaii 79-72 in overtime. Idaho State beats Weber State 67-57. Bellarmine beats Jacksonville State 75-62. UNLV beats number 21 New Mexico 84-77. Colorado beats Oregon State 62-42. Number 9 Gonzaga beats Santa Clara 81-76. And San Francisco beats Loyola Marymount 72-70. And yesterday, Northwestern upsets number 15 Indiana 84-83. New Hampshire beats Vermont 67-60. Iowa beats Rutgers 76-65. Maryland beats number 24 Ohio State 80-73. Lafayette beats Bucknell 74-67 in overtime. Wichita State beats South Florida 70-67 or 66. Holy Cross beats Loyola Maryland 63-55. UMBC beats Bryant 81-73. Oakland beats Wright State 75-73. Eastern Kentucky beats Liberty 62-59. UCF beats SMU 85-53. American beats BU 76-74. NJT beats Maine 91-83 in overtime. Lehigh beats Navy 78-73. Siena beats Rider 68-63. Canisius beats St. Peter's 67-60 in overtime. Quinnipiac beats Iona 81-58. Marist beats Mount St. Mary 63-56. Manhattan beats Niagara 64-59. Northern Kentucky beats Detroit Mercy 78-76 in overtime. Number 2, Houston beats Cincinnati 72-59. Albany beats UMass Lowell 89-63. Arizona State beats Washington 73-65. And number 1, Purdue beats Penn State 76-63. All right, smaller window tonight, 6 o'clock. You have SC State at Morgan State. My projection here is Morgan State by 14.5 total. 151 and 9/10. And it is 8.5 and 149.5. I'm going to lay the points of Morgan State. 6:30, Prairie View and Pine Bluff. My projection is Prairie View by 4 total, 136 and a fifth, and it's 3.5 and 139.5. I'm taking the under. 7 o'clock, Colgate Army. My line is Colgate by 1, total 149 and 9/20, and it's 7.5 and 151.5. I'm taking Army getting the points. That's way too many points. IPY Robert Morris. My line is Bob Morris by 12, total 134 and 9/20, and it is 16.5 and 128.5. Over. 7:30 Howard in Maryland Eastern Shore. My line's Howard by 2, total 136 and a tenth or a fifth. And it's Eastern Shore by 2.5, total 134.5. Ooh, give me Howard plus 2.5 and plus 118. NC Central and Coppin State. My line is NC Central by 3.5, total 152 and 3/5. And it's 1.5 and 155.5. Under. Norfolk State and Delaware State. My line is Norfolk by 15.5, total 137 and the 20th, and it's 13.5 and 134.5. Over. East-West Chicago State, 8 o'clock. We can skip. Florida A&M and Grambling. My line is Grambling by 9 3/4, so 132 and 4/5. And it's 16.5 and 128.5. I'm taking Florida A&M getting the points. That's a lot. Alabama State and Alcorn State. My line is Alcorn by 8.5, total 138 and 2/5. And it's 7.5 and 142.5. Under. Alabama A&M and Alcorn State. Or I'm sorry, Jackson State. My line is Jackson State by 3.5, total 145 and 4/5, and we got 5.5 and 142.5. Over. Texas Southern and Mississippi Valley State. My line is Texas Southern by 8, total 136. And we have 10.5 and 133.5. All right, so I have edges on both Valley State and the over at the same number. So I'm going to say over. Bethune Southern. My line Southern by 12, total 144 and 9/10. And it's 10.5 and 144.5. Slight lean to Southern. And last but not least, we have here Earl Roberts and New Mexico. I don't think New Mexico will still be in the rankings come later today when they come out. My line's New Mexico by 11, total 151 and 19/20. And it's 5.5 and 161.5. Under. All right, NBA time. We'll go over the weekend's window and look ahead to tonight's slate, which it's like 6 games. So that's not bad. All right, Friday. Pacers over the Blazers, 108-99. Bulls over the Sixers, 126-112. Knicks over the Raptors, 112-108. Nets over the Pelicans, 108-102. Hornets over the Bucks, 138-109. Thunder over the Wiz, 127-110. Spurs over the Pistons, 121-109. Timberwolves over the Clippers, 128-115. Nuggets over the Cavs, 121-108. Heat over the Suns, 104-96. And the Lakers over the Hawks, 130-114. Saturday, Celtics over the Spurs 121-116. Bulls over the Jazz 126-118. Mavs over the Pels 127-117. Magic over the Warriors 115-101. And the Lakers over the Kings 136-134. Sunday, Sixers over the Pistons 123-111. Raptors over the Blazers 117-105. Pacers over the Hornets 116-111. Nets over the Heat 102-101. Grizz over the Jazz 123-118. Wolves over the Rockets 104-96. Thunder over the Mavs 120-109. Cavs over the Suns 112-98. Hawks over the Clippers 112-108. All right, 7 o'clock, you have the Pelicans at the Wizards. My projections whizzed by a quarter, total 227 and 7/10. No Brad Beal, no Brandon Ingram, and no Zion. And we got 1.5 and 227.5, so very close, so slightly into the Pelicans. 7:30 NBA TV, Bulls Celtics, minus Celtics 7.5, total 231. Oh, wait, I have to make a change. I forgot to account for an absence. So 10.5 is Celtics projection. Total 231 and a fifth. And it's 8.5 and 238. Under. Bucks Knicks. My line is the Knicks by 1, a quarter, total 224 and 11/20. No Chris Middleton, and it's Bucks by 1, total 221. And RJ Barrett might be coming back tonight too. So the question is Knicks or the over. I'm going to go with the over. Spurs Grizz. My line Spurs by 19, total 230 and a 20th. 11.5 and 237.5. That's a tough one. Slight to the Grizzlies. Lakers Nuggets at 9. My line is Nuggets 16 and a quarter, total 232 and 11/20, and it's 10 and 240.5. Under. And last but not least, 10 o'clock, Magic Kings. My line's Kings by 8, total 229 and 19/20, and it's 6 and 238. Under. All right, now move on to the NHL. We'll recap the weekend's games and look ahead to tonight's window, which I don't think tonight's window is big. The Tuesday window is usually big. All right, Friday, Panthers over the Red Wings 3-2, Preds over the Caps 3-2, Jets over Lightning 4-2, Blackhawks over the Coyotes 2-0, Flames over the Isles 4-1, and Ducks over the Sharks 5-4 in OT. Saturday, Devils over the Rangers 4-3 in OT, Jackets over the Canes 4-3, Sabres over the Wild 6-5 in OT, Canes over the Blues, Canadians over the Blues 5-4, Kraken over the Sens 8-4, Leafs over the Red Wings 4-1, Avs over the Oilers 3-2 in OT. Kings over the Golden Knights 5-1, Bruins over the Sharks 4-2. And then yesterday, Jets over the Canucks 7-4, Stars over the Panthers 5-1, Caps over the Jackets 1-0, Pens over the Coyotes 4-1, Blackhawks over the Flames 4-3 in OT, Blues over the Wild 3-0, Leafs over the Flyers 6-2, and the Bruins over the Ducks 7-1. 4 games tonight, 7 o'clock, you have the Flyers and the Sabres from Buffalo. Sabres minus 235, Flyers plus 190, over under 6.5, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Flyers plus 1.5 is minus 132, Sabres minus 1.5 is plus 108. Tough one. I'm gonna go with first period result, Sabres plus 118. 7:30, Kraken Canadians. Kraken minus 194, Canadians plus 160, over under 6.5, overs minus 110, others minus 112. Kraken minus 1.5 is plus 128, Canadians plus 1.5 is minus 158. Let's go with the Kraken first period plus 132. Pred Sens on the NHL Network. My line, I don't have a line. I don't project hockey. Sens minus 118, Preds minus 102, over under 6, overs minus 114, unders minus 106, Preds plus 1/2 is minus 250, Sens minus 1/2 is plus 198. Tough one. I think Ottawa should not be favored. Give me Nashville minus 102. And 10:30 to Oilers and the Kings. Kings minus 115, Oilers minus 104, over under 6.5, overs minus 110, unders minus 112. Oilers plus 1/2 is minus 265. Kings minus 1/2 is plus 210. Over. No doubt about it. All right, tonight is the college football national championship game between number 1 Georgia and number 3 TCU. TCU is, I think, the most shocking team in the NCAA title game from a preseason expectation standpoint since 2013 Auburn, when they played Florida State and Jameis Winston. My projection here is Georgia by 3, total 61 3/10. And it is 13.5 and 63.5. I love TCU to cover the number. I think that they are a team that hangs around every game, and they are going to fight. I love their quarterback, Max Duggan. Quentin Johnson is an amazing wide receiver. Stetson Bennett really had his signature moment in that comeback against Ohio State last week. But I don't know if there will be like some sort of early letdown or not. But I think that TCU will be in this game till the very end. I think they cover, but Georgia will repeat as national champions. So looking forward to that game tonight. All right, now we're going to do a soccer recap from the weekend and go over some of the matchups we have in store for today. All right. So the English FA Cup. Friday, Man United over Everton 3-1. Saturday, Southampton over Crystal Palace 2-1. Tottenham over Portsmouth 1-0. Preston over Huddersfield 3-1. Reading over Watford 2-0. Leicester over Gillingham 3-0 or 1-0. Fulham over Hull 2-0. Ipswich over Rotherham 4-1. Brighton over Borough 5-1. Sheffield United over Millwall 2-0. Sunderland over Shrewsbury 2-1. Chesterfield and West Brom 3-3 draw. Burnley over Bournemouth 4-2. Boreham Wood and Accrington 1-1 draw. Blackpool over Nottingham Forest 4-1. Fleetwood Town over QPR 2-1. Grimsby Town over Burton Albion 1-0. Luton and Wigan 1-1 draw. Wrexham over Coventry 4-3. West Ham over Brentford 1-0. Sheffield Wednesday over Newcastle 2-1. And Liverpool Wolves 2-2 draw. Sunday, Derby over Barnsley 3-0. Bristol City and Swansea 1-1 draw. Stoke over Hartlepool 3-0. Blackburn over Norwich City 1-0. Walsall over Stockport 2-1. Cardiff Leeds 2-2 draw. Man City over Chelsea 4-0. And Aston Villa loses to Stevenage 2-1. All right, so 1/3 round game today. Oxford United and Arsenal. This should be an interesting game. Arsenal's minus 160 favorite. Oxford United is 12-1 draw plus 550. For this one, we're going to do over 3.5 goals at minus 108. So, Next up, in soccer, La Liga. Friday, Celta Vigo over Elche 1-0. Cadiz over Valencia 1-0. Saturday, Villarreal over Real Madrid 2-1. Mallorca over Valladolid 1-0. And Espanyol and Granada 2-2 draw. Sunday, Real Sociedad over Almeria 2-0. Betis over Rayo 2-1. Sevilla over Getafe 2-1. And Barcelona over Atletico 1-0. All right, 3 o'clock, you have Athletic and Osasuna. Just pulling up the Spanish La Liga. There we go. Athletic Bilbao minus 185. Osasuna plus 550. Draw plus 270. We're going to go over 2.5 goals at plus 110. All right, Serie A. Saturday. Fiorentina over Sassuolo 2-1. Juventus over Udinese 1-0. And Monza and Inter Milan 2-2 draw. Sunday. Salernitana and Torino 1-1 draw. Lazio and Empoli 2-2 draw. Spezia and Lecce 0-0 draw. Napoli over Sampdoria 2-0. And Milan over AS Roma 2-2. Or I should say it's a 2-2 draw. 2 games. 12:30 at Verona and Cremonese. So I'm going to pull up the betting information real quick for the Italian League. Serie A. Verona's plus 125. Cremonese is plus 230 draw. Plus 210. We're going to go with the draw plus 210. And 245 you have Bologna and Atlanta. Or Atalanta. Atalanta's plus 115. Bologna's plus 240 draw plus 230. And we are going to go with another draw at a good price of plus 230. Liga MX. So it's the Mexican Liga. Friday, Athletic San Luis over Necaxa 3-2, and Mazatlan and Leon got postponed. Saturday, America and Querétaro 0-0 draw, and Guadalajara over Monterrey 1-0. Altas and Toluca postponed. Sunday, UNAM over Juarez 2-1. Tigres over Santos 3-0. And Tijuana and Cruz Azul 1-1 draw. 1 game tonight, Pachuca and Puebla. So this league is just getting underway. And I'm going to quickly pull up the MX. Pachuca's minus 190. Puebla's plus 460. Draw plus 220. I'm going to go under 2.5 goals at minus 104. And then Eredivisie, the Dutch league. Eredivisie. All right, so Friday, FC 20 over Emmen 2-0. Saturday, RKC and Heerenveen 0-0 draw. AZ Alkmaar and Vitesse 1-1 draw. Go Ahead Eagles over Fortuna 2-0. And PSV and Sparta 0-0 draw. Sunday, FC Utrecht and Feyenoord 1-1 draw. NEC and Ajax 1-1 draw. FC Volendam over Cambuur 3-0. And Excelsior over FC Groningen 1-0 draw. So no Dutch soccer until the weekend. So now we'll move on to golf as we'll go over the results for the Tournament of Champions. And your winner of this event with a score of 27 under, John Rahn. Coming in second with 25 under, Colin Morikawa, who was my pick. He pretty much choked this away. Tied for third with 23 under, Taylor Hogan, Max Homa. Tied for fifth with 22 under, J.J. Spawn and Tom Kim. Tied for seventh with 21 under, Tony Finau, Kang-Hoo Lee, Scotty Scheffler, Matt Fitzpatrick. Tied for 11th with 20 under, Will Zalatoris and Luke List. Tied for 13th with 19 under, Cam Young, Sungjae Im, and Jordan Spieth. Tied for 16th with 18 under, Patrick Cantlay and Brian Harman. Tied for 18th with 17 under, Aaron Weiss, Corey Connors, and Victor Hovland. Tied for 21st with 16 under, Mackenzie Hughes, Hideki Matsuyama, JT Potts, and Sepp Straka. Tied for 25th with 15 under, Seamus Power, Scott Stallings, Justin Thomas, tied for 28th with 14 under, or I should say Justin 20th solo, Trey Mullinax. 29th with 13 under, Adam Scott. Tied for 30th with 12 under, Ryan Henley and Brett Horschel. 32nd with 11 under, Sam Burns. 33rd with 10 under, Steve Biglia. 34th with 9 under, Keegan Bradley. Tied for 35th with 7 under, Cheservie and Ryan Brem. 37th with 5 under, Adam Svensson. 38th with 2 under, Chad Ramian, withdrawing from the competition, Xander Schauffele. Next up is the Sony Open. We will get into it on the Wednesday podcast as I'll make my pick. All right, now I'll move on to the news and notes for today. This segment's probably be a little longer because at the end of the news and notes, I want to get into Black Monday a little bit. So we'll save football for last. All right, we'll do soccer first. Pulisic's out for weeks as he is out with a knee injury, so that is not good for Chelsea and U.S. men's national team. Zidane rejected the USMNT position, trying to succeed Greg Berhalter. And he also turned down Brazil and Portugal. Sophia Smith is the Women's National Team Player of the Year. The Portland Thorns forward is the youngest to win the award since Mia Hamm in 1994. NBA, LeBron makes it clear that his patience isn't wanting amidst Lakers' reluctance to trade first-round picks to improve team. KJ Martin entering the dunk contest in Salt Lake City. The Raptors offered Fred VanVleet a $114 million deal for 4 years and will let the current deal expire before discussing a new one. Miles Turner and Jordan Clarkson have turned down long-term extension offers from their respective clubs. Kevin Durant to undergo an MRI on Monday on his knee after an early exit from the Heat, as he had a collision with Jimmy Butler. Andrew Wiggins came back against the Magic after missing 15 games with a right adductor strain and non-COVID illness. We'll move on to baseball. Mariners signed A.J. Pollock, 1 year, $7 million contract. That piece there. Joe Lacob is eyeing the Angels, who was raised in Anaheim, confirms interest in buying the Angels. He says we're looking at it. The Phillies acquired Gregory Soto from the Detroit Tigers as they sent Nick Matone, Matt Vierling, and Donnie Sands to the trade for Soto and Cody Clemens. White Sox reliever Liam Hendricks has been diagnosed with cancer, and he's being treated he's beginning treatment for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So thoughts and prayers go out to Liam Hendricks, his family, friends, and the Chicago White Sox. Hopefully he will be okay. Julio Rodriguez donates toys to his hometown in Dominican Republic. So that is really cool. And Blake Wheeler had a very wild injury as he finished the game after a puck ruptured his testicle on December 15th. That's wild. Some college football stuff real quick. Shaq has a bet. He said he'll eat frogs. If Georgia beats TCU on Monday, Shaq bets Ernie he will eat a horned frog. Oh my God. I can't wait to see Shaq eat a horned frog. 50 Cent was hanging out with TCU. That was pretty cool. There's a hype tape going around for Georgia. As Vince Dooley's voice is in it, and it will give you goosebumps before the game tonight. All right, a lot of NFL stuff. Getting the number 1 pick in the draft, the Chicago Bears. And one more college note. Jared Versey announces that he is returning to Florida State instead of entering the draft. So that is crazy college football news I want to talk about real quick. So the Bears got the number 1 pick. There's a lot of speculation. Will they trade it? Will the Texans move up from 2? Well, Texans converted on 4th and 20 against the crummy Colts that cost them the number 1 pick. So a preseason bet I made plus 850 cashes through. But we have a lot of time to talk about what will the Bears do with the top pick in the draft. The big story coming out of yesterday is that obviously the Packers lose, so it's a lot of Aaron Rodgers speculation. He talks about his next move. He had some speculation thinking that he may retire. At some point, the carousel comes to a stop, he says. So, we will see. And something else cool that happened was that every team honored Damar Hamlin, which was awesome. All the home teams did a prayer circle of some sort for him. And the Steelers players surprised Damar Hamlin's mom's daycare center with toys, books, and supplies, which was amazing. So it's so great to see all the love that this man is getting. And the good news is that he's getting better and better by the day, which is amazing. And Damar Hamlin was tweeting from his hospital bed before the Bills game. We all saw the kickoff return for touchdown. I just thought that was really cool. Pretty much fitting. And emotional crowd in Buffalo too, for sure. The Lions troll Aaron Rodgers after ending his season, despite not making the postseason because Seattle had the tiebreaker over them. So the first coach fired in the offseason is Lovie Smith. After one season, 3-13-1. There was a report yesterday from Jake Glazer that they were going to potentially clean house and potentially fire GM Nick Caserio as well. But the early favorites for this Texans job were 49ers defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryans and Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon. The Broncos received permission from the Saints to interview Sean Payton for its head coaching position. And then the deal apparently is getting closer on Saturday night as they're on the same page about trade compensation for Sean Payton as the Saints want a first rounder and more. And then the Broncos will meet with Jim Harbaugh this week. So the Broncos are going big or they're going home. And before Lovie Smith got fired, he made a case for his return with Cal McNair. But he ended up being one and done anyway. The big one that come out is that Sean McVay's future at the Rams is in limbo, and he'll take his time to determine whether he'll return next season or not. The Ravens waived Deshaun Jackson. Didn't do much. 9 passes, 153 yards in 7 games. The Jets are targeting 3 quarterbacks in the offseason, including Lamar Jackson. The Bengals were livid with this coin toss thing as he's voiced his opposition to the league's new playoff scenarios. And many within the Bengals feel penalized. Vance Joseph could get the Cardinals job if the Cardinals were to fire Cliff Kingsbury. That would just be awful of a hire. Vance Joseph was a joke in Denver. And I think he was one and done. So the New York Giants sat all their key starters, including Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. And their third stringer, Davis Webb, started the game. So the NFC playoffs, number 7, Seahawks at number 2, 49ers. Number 6, Vikings at number 3, Vikings. Or I should say number 6, Giants at number 3, Vikings. Number 5, Cowboys at number 4, Buccaneers. And those games are the Giant games, 4:30 on Fox. So that's going to be Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olsen, you would think. Bucks, Cowboys is Monday night, so that's Buck and Aikman. And then Seahawks, 49ers is the Saturday 4:30 game. So that's probably going to be Joe Davis and Darryl Johnson. And then the AFC games, Saturday in prime time, you have the Jaguars hosting the Chargers. Sunday at 1 o'clock, you have the Dolphins at the Bills. So that's the 7-2. And then Sunday night, you have the Ravens at the Bengals. So Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, they're definitely going to get that Bengals game. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo are definitely going to be in Buffalo for the second consecutive week. And the question is, who gets that second NBC game? I think that's the most interesting question as we head into the week. A couple other news and notes we forgot to get to. Mike Williams has a back injury, but it's minor. He'll be okay. And we'll have more tests today. And the Ravens are confident that Lamar Jackson will be back for the postseason despite not practicing in over a month. And the Dodgers designate Trevor Bauer for assignment as he completed the 194-game suspension for violating the league's domestic violence policy. I don't think he's going to pitch again. Last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. I have a couple in mind. I'm 5-0 in 2023. I've won 11 straight best bets dating back to December 23rd. So I'm going to lay a full unit on today's best bet. And it's going to go into the NHL. I love the over at Edmonton, LA. Love it. I absolutely love it. So over 6.5 in Edmonton, LA, minus 110 is today's best bet. All right, so that's it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping the Natty and going over everything that's going on in the world of sports and pop culture. All right, so that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything going ahead and looking ahead to everything tomorrow as well. NFL Power Rankings with resumes for the season and news and notes and best bet too. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.